Welcome to Author Mindset Monday with a great quote from Steve Jobs. Let me pull that up for you. If you are working on something that you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision pulls you. Isn't that what writing your book is all about? Being pushed forward, being pulled, dragged forward, if you will, into getting this thing done? That's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. But first, hello, welcome. My name is Christopher D'Armani. It is my pleasure, it is my passion to empower aspiring Christian nonfiction writers to share their trauma to triumph journey using a complete, detailed roadmap for writing success so they can make the impact they know they were born to make. For me, that's very exciting. I hope it is for you too. When you're aligned with a vision that resonates within you, motivation becomes an innate, like it's part of you. You don't have to go looking for it, it's right there. You don't need to search outward for it because it's already inside. Hebrews 11:1 addresses this power of motivation and hope really well. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. For me, this verse emphasizes that your faith-powered vision is the fuel that will keep you going all the way down Publication Highway. Think about that for a moment. This faith-powered vision that you have, this notion that God put this book on your heart so that you could write it and serve others, help other people who are right now in the middle of the stuff that you've been through and found a way out of. This is an amazing calling. It's an amazing calling. And this core vision is the message that you want to convey. And you also want to convey why it matters, why it's important for you to do this. And you need to do that for both you and your reader. You need to understand deeply in your own heart why this is so important, because then you can actually express that to someone else. Slice your vision into these little tiny chunks that you can actually build upon. I call these micro goals, little tiny slivers of something to help get you down the road. These micro goals are easier to focus on and they're easier to achieve because it's not this overwhelming thing. I think so many people feel overwhelmed at the process of writing a book because they look at the totality of it as opposed to breaking it down into a really simple step-by-step process to make it possible, to make it doable. Because when you do that, this Mount Everest, this thing that seems just insurmountable, becomes, oh, well, I can write 500 words tomorrow, that's easy. Or I can write 250 words tomorrow, or I can write 2,000 words tomorrow, whatever it is for you. Whatever that easy thing for you to do is, when you do that every single day, your book is inevitable. It's just a fact. Just a fact. But the thing I want you to do with your vision, with this purpose that you have, write it down in a really succinct sentence or just a phrase in a way that really resonates deeply with you, and then post it over top of where you work, where you write, and look at it every time before you start. Take a moment to connect emotionally with it. Take a moment to envision holding that published book in your hand. It's not there yet, but you can still imagine that moment and how it's going to feel. And that, combined with your vision, I think makes for a really powerful motivator to keep you going on those days where you may not feel like it. And here's something to try. Share your vision out loud, first to yourself, ideally looking in a mirror so you can look yourself in the eye when you say it, and so you can connect with the totality and the reality of it. And then say it out loud to other people. Yeah, that can be a little bit challenging, right? But the more you speak it, the more you share it, the more it becomes a part of you that you simply cannot deny. Celebrate every single success along the way. All those little tiny wins, those are your stepping stones to success. And on those rare moments where you do fall down, maybe you miss a day of writing or you don't do something you think you ought to have, just understand that, okay, I can get back up, brush myself off, and work a little harder tomorrow. That's easy. We can all do that. And that makes it so easy to focus on what's immediately in front of you instead of looking at this grand mountain that just seems like I'll never be able to climb that. Writing a little bit every single day is easy. Anyone can do it. There's nothing special about me. Yes, I've written a bunch of books. I've published a bunch of books. But anyone can do it. If you go back and look some of the other videos, you'll find me talking about times where I struggled to get a first draft written in a really long time. But that's why systems are so important. That's why these little tiny things that I talk about every single day at 3 o'clock are so important. If I do this one small thing today, if I add this one small thing to my writer's toolbox, it's going to make it easier for me tomorrow. And that's all this whole process is about, is figuring out how do I make this easier for me today so I can make it a little easier even more tomorrow. So celebrate those small wins, every single one of them, because they're so, so important. And if you know that you need to do this, but you're unsure how to get started, maybe you like, maybe Christopher, I get that you said that you can do this, anyone can do it, yeah, sure, blah, 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 whatever, but I'm not you, I can't do that. And then you'll have your list of reasons of why you can't do it. I would suggest that every single one of those things is simply you rationalizing why you aren't doing it, even though you know you need to. And that might be an unpleasant thing to hear, but if you're here watching me, I think part of the reason you're here is because you need to hear that honest truth. Forget about your excuses. If this book is on your heart, write it. And if you don't know how, figure it out. Find someone to learn something from. Find the person you resonate with. And if that's me, great. And if it's not, great. Find the person who it is. But if it's me, then I would highly encourage you to go to christianwriterunstuck.com and grab a ticket and then join me on October 19th. It's going to be a really amazing 3-day live event where I'm going to walk you through the entire process that I use every time I write a book. The same process that I've used to write and publish 50 books. The same process I teach other writers to do so that they can write and publish their books. I'm going to walk you through this entire process so that at the end of that 3-day period, you will have this document. It's actually a series of documents where you will know exactly how to do every single step of writing your book and getting it published. You'll learn beautiful things like manuscript math, which is one of my favorite things, because it kicks open the doors of possibility like nothing else I've ever come across. It's wonderful. But just understand that if you don't know what to do, if you don't know how to get started, if you don't know how to find the time to write, if you don't know how to make the time to write, which is really what the truth is, we don't find the time to do anything. We make the time for things that are important. If you don't know how to do that in your life, or maybe you have a very busy life, and that can be challenging. I used to work in the movie industry, and I still kept writing. I get how difficult it can be. We were working crazy long days, 14, 15, 16, 18-hour days, and working around the clock every week. But writing was important to me, so I found a way to do it. It certainly wasn't easy, but it was important. So I figured out a way. And so there's lots of tools that I can give you to help you figure out your way as well. And that's all going to take place, let me just bring that back up, at Christian Writer Unstuck on October 19th. It'll be a lot of fun. And whether that's right for you or not, I would love to see you here again tomorrow at 3 o'clock, where I'll share another little tidbit of how you can make your writing journey just a little bit easier. All right? Have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll talk to you again tomorrow at 3.